Hello, Hebrews and Shebrews. What a glorious Jewish day. We're going to be reading Proverbs today. And Aaron is not here. He was like, I can't stand the idea of you introducing it as a glorious Jewish day. I'm out of here. And so he's no longer with us. Very unfortunate. For perhaps all the commies will send him to Gulag. But either way.
I mean, why not? You already have enough concentration camps for everyone in the U.S.
That is true. We do have quite a few. So today we're going to be going over Proverbs 8, and Proverbs 8 is, I think, fascinating. We have personified
It's Lawrence's
wisdom.
favorite.
Well, I mean, in Proverbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there is a lot of talk about the creation of the world, and I'm going to be honest, it's unclear exactly which one came first, this narrative or the other one, but I think that there are a few other places in the Bible where we do get kind of hints at a creation narrative, and in most cases, kind of hard to tell. But the thing about this one is that since wisdom is there from the beginning, she has an active role in the creation. In later years, this would be identified partially with Jesus, and we'll get to that.
But are you saying that Jesus sometimes used she, her pronouns?
No, see, I can get to that one too. But there are other texts. There are other texts that it's the Gospel of Thomas, and I forget the exact section. I think it's yeah, I forget. Might be like 119 or 120 or something like that. But the women who are like spiritually in it, like the truest, they have the truest, most sincere form of the faith. Essentially, it says that they will become men in spirit.
Yeah,
because
that's a Gnostic thing that makes me want to punch people. But yeah, they're now rational, which means they're men, because that's totally what
kind of
we observe
because
today.
Good old sexism.
Well, yeah.
Thing about wisdom is wisdom does have an exalted place in both Jewish tradition and Christian tradition, obviously for different reasons. But the thing is, the Jesus stuff is more complicated because it not only takes into account wisdom, but it takes into account other, I'll say hypostases of God that are found throughout the Old Testament.
He became associated with the Logos and the fourth gospel and the by him all things were made, by him and for him, yada, yada, yada. It puts him in the same narrative position as the Sophia wisdom that we're talking about here. And I do notice that when I was a Christian and when I was talking about these things in the theological positions, Jesus was sometimes used as not overtly feminine, but to take on some of the more what would be considered feminine aspects of divinity than the God the Father, who's like hyper masculine in the worst possible way. Not in the sense of anyone actually saying that Jesus was female, but in the sense of, the nurturing and the forgiving and the things that patriarchy thinks of as positive and feminine.
When you say uber macho, I get the impression of one of those guys that always sticks his chest up and his shoulders back and is always confrontational, assuming a challenge at everything. And then when you meet that challenge, if you ever get tired of his posturing, well, then suddenly all of his bravado is gone and there's an excuse, like, oh, I am the bad. Oh, you got iron chariots?
Yeah. That is 100% the vibe.
See, up until Aaron said iron chariots, I was like, surely he's describing himself.
I definitely get the impression that that version of God, if he were a person today, would call himself an alpha male and be on the grind set, and you don't hang out with women because that takes away from time with your bros, because it's gay to sleep with women because that makes you feminine. God, I wish I was joking.
Fellas, is it gay to
is it gay to like
be heterosexual?
Yes, exactly. Oh, but that aside, this is obviously before that. And when you say the earlier creation, we're talking about, because as I understand it, the chaos conf is first. The Tiamat overcoming the great chaos.
I was talking about the ones that we like read through. So I was like,
right, the later question creation, of whether or not this God as creator was a later invention, and variations of that.
No, I was just comparing this one to the one in Genesis. That's it.
Okay, yeah, those are later ones. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm just not sure where our viewership is, how up to date everyone is on the. We've done a lot of these.
Yeah, like I said, there are
concepts.
There are hints of the creation narrative in other texts that we've read through, but this one is way more fleshed out than the other ones. It's more detailed, and honestly, I think it is far more interesting. So, since Arn does seem to be back, perhaps he would like to read Proverbs 8.
All right, Proverbs 8, the gifts of wisdom. Does not wisdom call, and understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads she takes her stand. Beside the gates in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals she cries out, "To you, O people, I call." And my cry is to all who live, "O simple ones, learn prudence. Acquire intelligence, you who lack it. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right. From my mouth will utter truth, wickedness, and abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to one who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. I, wisdom, live with prudence, and I attain knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil, pride and arrogance, and the way of evil. And perverted speech I hate. I have good advice and sound wisdom. I have insight. I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me rulers rule, and nobles who govern rightly. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness along the paths of justice, endowing with wealth those who love me and filling their treasures.
We got.
Okay, I need to go help somebody with something.
So. Gotcha. Okay, actually, that's right. That's actually fine. Go ahead, Arn. Do that. So that's actually a weirdly okay place to stop, even though we're not done with the chapter yet, because the first part is about that kind of brings back stuff that we've already seen throughout Proverbs and Psalms, how wisdom is the person, quote unquote person, using that term loosely here, is the person that you should be following, right? And it's not like they're going to make an argument for this or anything. They're just kind of saying things that they've always said, like, oh, it's better, wisdom is better than gold and silver, and don't be prideful and arrogant and all this stuff. And for once we start reading through this, we can clearly see that there is some connection to the deity directly, even before we get to the actual creation narrative where it's more detailed. But in this one specifically, where I think it starts in verse 12 through to the end, I wisdom live with prudence, I attain knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. And then the way that evil has been described in this text and many others is that it's the thing that is straying you away from the Lord. So like by definition, if you are not like fully faithful, if you're not completely in it, if you haven't given up your entire mind, body, soul, whatever, to following this faith to the fucking letter, or at least trying to, then you can stray away from God, and you can cause other people to stray away from God. Like we see it all the time in Psalms, where those people are called stumbling blocks. We see it in the New Testament as well. But like even through this, right? Like when it says in verse 15 and 16, by me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me rulers rule, and nobles, all who govern rightly. The thing is, we already know that there were a whole bunch of kings that they didn't like, that were unjust. We already know this. But the idea of a god, the idea of a king reigning, being attributed to the strength of that king's god, is all throughout the ancient Near East. And like if this was written in like the Persian period, for example, then you already have this return to the glory days almost. At least they can get much closer to that, right? Because especially in the olden times, you had not olden times, but you have like in the pre-exilic times, you have the Davidic, the dynastic promise to David, where his seed will reign in Israel forever. And obviously that didn't work out, but them going back, them returning to this land, and in some ways taking control of it, having some amount to say as to what happens to them, this would just be reinforcing their idea that, oh, we have the right God. Our God is in fact the best, because in the end he won. But now, from my perspective, that's not great theology, because it's just post hoc rationalization. And the very next time that
God
they
didn't
get taken over, it's still not. They're still going to be like, oh well, don't worry, God's going to get the last laugh at the end. It's always just this kind of hope. Sorry, go ahead, Lilith.
Sorry, I was just saying, like, but God didn't really win. I mean, it's all, like you said, post hoc rationalizations and justifications. And then it's like, see, our God really won because, it was all a cheat, and the ballots were stuffed. Sorry.
Right.
That's the other fool who cries in the street.
Yeah, I wonder who voted for this God. Must have been over mail-in ballots. That must have been
yeah, that's the way it goes, right?
Surely.
No, but I mean, you're right. Obviously, there is a lot of post hoc rationalization. There's a lot of finding a way in which you can give your God a win, regardless of the reality of the situation. But that plays into that very ancient idea of our God is valid if he wins. And, we'll take the land our God Yahweh gives us. You take the land your God Chemosh gives us. That's very, we've seen that. It's the old thinking, but it doesn't really matter what actually happens. You're going to find an excuse why your God is winning in some sense.
Yeah. And if we look a little bit closer, we can also see that wisdom, the way that wisdom is being portrayed here, is as a mouthpiece of God. That's the main idea. So she's the one that's in every place, on the corner of every street, shouting at everyone. So like the idea that there is like this truth that is out there, you just have to pay attention to it. And I don't mean that in Ancient Aliens kind of way, but that was kind of their theology. Like it should be so abundantly clear, and we're being so loud about it that people should know these facts by now, and they're going to continue to proclaim them. But the thing is, you can kind of see how the wisdom is connected to God even from here. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. My mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination. So like those are all things that we have seen associated with God and his prophets, especially because if the prophets have this power from God, or I think it's in Ezekiel, right, that he's only speaking when God tells him to speak, he tells him what to say, and it definitely falls in line with that exact same theological view.
Yeah.
And then we also have the same thing, if you at the end of that section, I walk in the way of righteousness along the paths of justice, very reminiscent of the king's narratives, where you have the kings do what is right in their own eyes, which is like they think it's right, but it's clearly wrong, is the idea behind those verses. And there's so many times that happens. So with wisdom saying like I walk in the way of righteousness is another way to identify wisdom as being a mouthpiece of God. And we get that more in the second section, although it does take some time to fully flesh out. So so I see that Aaron is still not back. Did either of you have any notes or thoughts on verses 1 through 21 there?
Isaac? I've been talking thus far, so you can go first if you have anything you want to mention.
And you are muted. Okay.
Yeah, the more interesting parts are in the next part. But yeah, the idea of like the, wisdom being like just a spokesperson for God is interesting. But it does look like it's kind of being used here in a sort of like the author is saying like, it's not me saying you have to listen to me. It's wisdom saying that you have to listen to her. So heed what I write because it's the words of wisdom or whatever. It's like, seems a bit cheeky in that sense.
Yeah, a little bit of a braggart, the author. I have to say, in my experience, wisdom very rarely calls out in the streets. As wiser voices once said, the sound of the rain needs no translation. There are wise people who will occasionally make a fuss, but in general, that's not their default operating. That's usually not the wisest way to deal with most things. But it's frustrating because wisdom is good. Wisdom is valuable. The problem is the way that it's being phrased and the way that it's being used is called, I am the wisdom. I am giving you the wisdom that is good. And because I call it wisdom, it is good. So you can't question it. That's the way that a lot of things were used in, I think, both of our religious upbringings, just different as they were. I'm pretty sure they both used that mechanism. And that's, it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing where you get from one side, you've got a good point of, yes, please learn wisdom and understanding, learn about things, be thoughtful about your actions, pursue that as a goal. And then just, if I call it wisdom, is it just branding to get everyone to not be able to question me? Kind of like American freedom.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's just kind of this method of teaching from what we've seen in Proverbs so far is like, God, what's that meme? Oh yeah, trust me, bro. It's very much trust me, bro.
Yeah, very trust me, bro.
Yeah. So I guess since Aaron's not here, I guess I'll read the rest of this chapter, and this is where all the cool stuff starts. So verse 22. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of long ago. Ages ago I was set up, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. When he had not yet made earth and fields, or the world's first bits of soil. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above. When he established the fountains of the deep. When he assigned to the sea its limits, so that the waters might not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him, like a master worker. I was daily his delight, playing before him always, playing in his inhabited world, and delighted in the human race. And now my children, listen to me. Happy are those who keep my ways, hear instruction and be wise. do not neglect it. Happy is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting beside my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. So that last section there, from verse 32 on, we definitely see how this was used in the Jesus narrative as well. No one comes to the Father but through me. Very on the nose. And for most of it, if we recall the idea of the chaos comp as we've talked about so far, and if we go back to the very first creation narrative in Genesis 1 and 2, what we see is that there was already stuff existing. Like it was formless, right? It didn't have a shape. It was just kind of there. It was just stuff. And the creation narrative that we see there was God has created something out of this chaos. Now, the origins of that kind of mythos come from the rest of the ancient Near East, where they believed in this chaos comp, this battle against this primordial chaos dragon, usually. And it's, at this point, it's all muted out. It's basically gone, but there are always hints here and there throughout the Bible. And if we can take a look at how this cosmology acts, we can, and later interpretation, wisdom here being the very first thing that is essentially created. Through wisdom was how God was able to create everything. And this was also taken up by early Christians, except with the Logos. So you have the Word being the first thing that's created because he created everything by just kind of saying it. They were like, oh, his creative power is in the Word. The Word is the magic. And it was the same way in Egypt as well.
Is this different from a magical incantation?
It's not really all that different.
Leviosa.
Although this is not, actually I should say, this is not the magical incantation, right? This is just a recollection of a magical incantation. So,
yes.
Let's see where we are. Yeah, so, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. And when there were no depths, I was brought forth. So remember, God kind of created everything he created everything out of something. It wasn't out of nothing, exactly, because there was already stuff. He's just kind of forming it. He's building it into something. And the way that he is able to build it, at least according to the author of Proverbs 8, is through wisdom. And it was essentially his helper throughout the whole thing. Now, of course, I am sure that we also want to talk about verses 27 through probably 29, mostly.
You might want to do this verse by verse. Still, I mean, going back to 23 and 24. So it says that I was there before the earth was created, the beginning of the earth. And then the next verse is, there was still no deep when I was brought forth, no springs rich with water. So in Genesis, you kind of have, in the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. And it's kind of, you could either understand that as like an introduction, right? And then the next verse is, God's spirit was hovering over the face of the depth or whatever. And then kind of created light and whatever. So almost, you could think, it's almost like, oh, was that just water before he started creating? Or is it a different, which is a bit more like, maybe it's more of a modern thinking, which is God created the heavens and the earth as sort of like unformed, chaotic, and then sorted it out afterwards.
Well,
so it wasn't like there was...
what it says in Genesis, is the earth was tohu vabohu. And the phrase, I go over this in my video on biblical cosmology, but the phrase is... Well, this is mostly the argument that David Samora presents, that it's essentially like it's barren. Everything is barren. It can't sustain life. It can't create life. It's just dead. It's like a sea with no water. It's like a desert. Like you can't sustain anything. That's what would be kind of the best way to describe what tohu vabohu is. And the idea is it definitely goes further here, where it's like before there was even that, this was around.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like this, the order over here kind of implies that the Earth was created first and then the depths, as opposed to
right. Yeah.
Well, it depends. There's a little bit of confusion. Like, okay, in the NIV translation, which I'm well aware, problems. But like when there were no oceans, I was given birth, because there's a bit of a distinction. Tiamat's body, cut in half, the waters of creation. There's a waters implication with sea monsters and that sort of thing. But that pre-creation of the world, chaotic depths, void oceans are a little different from like oceans on the planet oceans. I think it's a little bit.
Yeah, you could almost view it as like a glob of chaotic water.
Or just the void of space, and that sort of similar vibe that we get if you're ever staring into the depths of the ocean. And I don't know. Sometimes, like if you watch footage of deep sea documentaries and you watch footage of the astronaut out in space being like, "Oh fuck, I'm so alone," and the unfathomable void around, I kind of get the same vibe from both of them. That's where I see the connection, personally.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm almost sure I've seen like the imagery of like kind of God creates a bubble of water, and then inside the water is the firmament pushes out into another bubble, and then inside that is the land, the earth. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially like you can pull up a picture of this like online and like of biblical cosmology, and you're gonna see the flat Earth and the dome and how there's this world ocean surrounding it. That was exactly what people in the ancient world thought. There is, for example, you can look at the Sipar world map, for example. It's a Babylonian map, and it's where you have the land there, you have like some big cities kind of boxed off. So say like this is where this main city is. On the other side is this other big town. But then and they have like the rivers, but then surrounding it is this world ocean, and then beyond that is the translation is very difficult because we're not entirely sure, but they are essentially just like far away land masses, and that's on the Sipar world map. But the
mountains, is that?
They look like mountains on the drawing, but they're not mountains. Yeah. I forget the word that's used there, but they're not mountains. So this idea of this world ocean kind of brings us to two things in here, where we have when he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, this is literally it's a circle, an actual circle, because they did believe in a flat Earth. There was this actual circle. He's basically creating the boundaries of where everything's set up, because in the mythology that this would have been taken from initially, the lower half of Tiamat was because Marduk cuts her in half, and he stretches her out to create the heavens. Her top half, and her bottom half is the ocean, is the deepest, the land. It's everything at the bottom. So the circle on the face of the deep goes back directly to that, when he's essentially consolidating everything, so there's a bit more order. It's not as chaotic, it's a bit more orderly, and it keeps going with that idea too, making firm the skies. Is that I think this is Rakia, right?
It doesn't actually use the word. Which was it? 25? No. Oh, you've already gone. You skipped those two. Okay. 27. No, that I was there when he set the heavens into place.
I was looking at 28 when he made.
28. Yeah. Heavens above firm. Yeah. So it doesn't actually use the word rakia. It's more like strengthened the sky, he buttressed the sky. JPS translates it as he made the heavens above firm, but it's not using the word rakia explicitly. It's using, it doesn't even use, I think it uses the word shachakim, which I think is just an alternative for heaven.
Sure, okay.
But I can't remember exactly what it means. I think it's like the sky or even like clouds or something. But
I mean, either way,
also
you have
like the verb is like to like strengthen.
Yeah.
So
wait, what is that verb here? Actually, let's look that up.
Amatz.
Okay. So either way, when it says drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he made firm the skies above, when he established the fountains of the deep, assigned the sea to its limits. Because we have to remember in other mythologies, in the Baal cycle, actually, Yam, the god of the sea, basically, he's kind of imprisoned, and it's very unclear if he's killed or if he's just imprisoned, but essentially he is cast away to the ends of the universe, and he is locked away. And we saw this in Job as well, right? Where you have the waters they're behind was it bars and gates, I think is the term that was used, the phrase that was used. And you have this, it all kind of comes together here because they're kind of pulling from their own milieus. So you have these are not direct, by the way, but the people at the time generally did believe this thing, that there was an ocean that kind of went out to the edge, and then there is this physical firmament, a physical sky. It is firm, it is solid, but beyond that is the ocean that is in the heavens, like the one that's far away. That's why we're talking about the mountains, or sorry, the establishment of the fountains of the deep, for example. And then in verse 29 we get that as well, when he assigned to the sea its limit, kind of making that boundary again, and that the waters might not transgress his command. They're far away. They are being stopped by this physical firmament, and what this was taken from did obviously personify that would have been Yam, and at this point in time it's kind of lost that, but it's still very much clear the antecedents to this mythology. And if you want more detailed examinations of this, don't you worry, I do have an 1.5-hour long video on exactly this topic.
In verses 25, what's your translation for the foundations of the mountains?
I have so I'm using here the NRSV UE. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills I was brought forth.
So you have the mountains were shaped. JPS translates it as before the mountains were sunk. Interesting. Let's
see.
And actually, Rashi has used a translation, I guess, that also meant that, because his explanation is within the water. Before the mountains were sunk into the water.
I do have a note on this. Let's see, mountains and
so hills. Is that the mountain sinking into the water? Is that the flood or a recreation, kind of a myth?
Well, I think
it's supposed to be like in the creation,
right?
Like how mountains were created. God, like
out of the water.
I mean, the Quran describes
them out of the water, not sinks them in.
In the Quran describes the mountains as pegs that hold down the earth.
That is true. Yes, they are talked about as being pillars. They did believe that they were the. Yeah, you're basically right. Yeah, they're like the pins, basically.
They're connected to the foundations of the earth. The foundations of the earth are the kind of like.
Although
this idea that the world's seen something that keeps it.
The earth has foundations?
Yeah, according to the Bible, don't you know?
And the mountains are pins connecting to them, according to Muslims. I have actually had Muslims tell me online that this was a proven scientific fact from the Quran.
I had an argument with Hamza Sortzis about this very thing in front of the World Atheist Convention in Dublin. And I had to explain to him isostasy. And I told him that the mountains don't stop shit. The lithosphere still moves under them. They don't do anything. So the Quran is wrong. He goes, no, the Quran is wrong, not wrong. I'm wrong. My interpretation of the Quran is wrong.
Oh my God.
The Quran cannot be wrong.
Right. Yeah. They love that one. So I do have a note here that might be helpful. So let's see. Mountains, hills, not just the features of the natural landscape, but the home of the gods and the peaks of the pillars that supported the earth. They are, he does say here, quote, sunk, not shaped. So I don't know why they translated this way. This is in the same thing. This is the SBL Study Bible.
So they have their translation, and then the note says sunk, not shaped, even though they use shaped.
Yes.
That's funny.
I don't know why. Don't ask me questions. I don't know.
Because it's too obvious.
Right,
None of it makes sense.
Although I might here, I'll pull something up on this. What verse was that? That was
25.
25. Yes, let's go to 25 here. Shouldn't be too far away. I am positive there will be a note here on this. Yes, 25. Here it is. Okay. Where is... Here we go. Okay, so the verbal clause in verse 25a at first seems strange. Mountains protrude upward, not downward. This statement, however, can be understood in light of the tripartite ancient Near Eastern cosmology. Like the pillars of the earth that are sunken in Job 38:6, the mountains and hills were set downward into the underworld. Okay, so they're sunken as in like stabilizing, to stabilize it. So it does go up, but it's like hooked or something, basically. Maybe that's the way you're supposed to think of it. So, but yes, the tripartite view, I've also covered that in previous episodes and in my video on cosmology, on biblical cosmology, where it's where everything is split into heaven, earth, and like the underworld, basically. And then you have each of those being split up there, and depending on what religion or what region or what region the material, your source material, is from, they will have them be connected in different ways. One of them, for example, has them basically just as planes that are connected by cords. It appears in actual inscriptions where you have a god that is dressed with the planes and the cords attaching them all. So it is pretty interesting.
Wait, when you say planes, you mean like the plane,
like flat surface,
like a grassland? Yeah. Like
a long flat
multiple
surface.
Planes of existence.
Who hasn't wanted to pick up a meadow and wrap it around them like a skirt?
I mean, yeah, these gods definitely love doing it.
But I think he's talking about, when you say the plane, you're talking about like the three planes.
Yes.
The like heaven, the like where the gods live, where the humans live, and where the underworld is.
Yes.
The dead live.
Yeah.
And then those three together are the skirt of this god. Okay.
Yeah. So there is actually Peter. I'm not sure if you'll be able to. If I send you this picture, will you be able to show it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that you usually like for me to send these things early, but I don't know why, but I did not consider. I did not consider doing this.
Always fun.
No. Yeah. We all know you hate me, so you just don't want to send me emails. That's it.
I mean, it could be two reasons. Yeah.
Boys, don't make me make you kiss and make up.
That's not gonna happen.
You don't have to make us do that. We'll just do it.
Yeah, just not with each other.
Oh. Peter, you would totally kiss for the views. Come on. You would kiss a dude for a joke.
Oh yeah.
Who
Peter,
amongst us?
It would do well as well.
I've just sent it to the email. I think this one is it'll just help add some context, because even though this is not a direct depiction of anything that's happening in Proverbs, it does show the the milieu that they were in. So like in that culture, this is what they believed the universe was essentially structured like. Like you see this as noted in the commentary I was reading from, which was from Hermenia. It reflects that tripartite cosmology where everything is kind of attached to a different plane, right? The heavens go the mountains go all the way up into the heavens, but then also kind of the same thing with in the underworld, to kind of make sure everything is attached. So I did send it to the email.
Verse 27, I think, is important as well. No?
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, what?
I got it.
Verse 27 is interesting. Interesting. I think it's important to reiterate, because I think a lot of people make this mistake. A lot of Christians or theists will say something like, "Oh, the Bible says the Earth is round because, it's got the circle of the Earth or whatever, right?"
Yeah, it never means sphere.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Just let me know when you want me to put it up.
There is another word you can use for a sphere, which is dor or kador, like a ball. Kador is a ball, and the word used is chug, which is kind of more of like a line, a circle. There's actually in Isaiah, it uses like a noun of, I think it's mechuga, which is a compass. It's something that makes a circle. Like he I think it's here, Isaiah 44:13, and he makes it round with a circle, with a compass. Right. You wouldn't create a sphere with a compass.
Yeah, it's always a circle. But yeah, Peter, you can go ahead and show the image there.
Oh
yeah, so this is,
there we go. Yeah,
this is from one of my absolute all-time favorite papers. It is kind of lengthy, but it's really good. The paper is called Ezekiel 1, Babylonian Cosmological Scholarship and Iconography, and it is from, who are the authors here? Where is it? Right. Where are the names? Hold on. Okay, so it's a Christoph Eulinger and Suzanne Miller or Mueller Trufant. So this is from a phenomenal paper where they examine the biblical cosmology essentially, and they also show at the end of it a whole bunch of parallels to the rest of the ancient Near East, including Mesopotamia, Assyria, Babylon. Really cool stuff. But yes, as you can see, the dresses of these gods. You see those skirts? See how they're connected? See those planes? This is essentially what it, I mean, this is a 2D representation of it, obviously, but that's essentially what they believe.
Yeah, how do you know those aren't spheres?
Yeah. How do I know those aren't spheres? Surely. Good.
Heaven is a sphere, and then the earth is a sphere underneath it, and then the underworld is a sphere underneath it. Obviously.
Yeah, surely that is consistent. Yeah. But yeah, you can put that down. But I think that one is
They're like those little Russian Matryoshka dolls. Obviously, really. This is just the only way they could render it in 2 dimensions, right?
Right. If they were trying to render a sphere in 2 dimensions, then those straight lines would be curved.
Stop making
I think
sense.
The straight lines is if you look at each of those circles, they have like almost like a diamond, a star pattern. I think it's supposed to be like the center is like the city, and then like river or where the gods live, and then you have like rivers going out to the edge.
Those can be whatever
they
we
represent.
Like in other images, for example, like the top, like it looks like a bunch of small circles, and that's probably just like the sky at night. where it was just a bunch of stars.
Okay, that's cute. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in the context of this chapter, it's obvious that it's talking about a circle. I mean, APS translates it as "fix the horizon upon the deep," which is, I mean, the word horizon does come from the circle around you that you can see. The horizon around you is a circle. So I guess that's not a bad translation, but it kind of gets away from that. But then and if you go to verse 29, you get the sea when he assigned the sea its limits, right?
Yeah.
The sea can't fall off the edge of the earth because he created this boundary, which
he created an ice wall
or part of the dome. Yeah. Well, I don't think they knew about the ice. I don't think they knew about the ice at the edge of the world.
Hey, Jesus said he would defeat sin. Thor said he would defeat the frost giants, and I haven't seen any frost giants.
True.
Point.
See plenty sin now.
Yeah.
Plenty of sin. But yeah, it's you know what it reminds me of? Remember the Truman Show?
Yep.
Remember when he rides his boat, he insists on riding his boat to the edge, and it just plows right into this wall painted like the sky?
Yes.
That's the firmament.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening. Yeah, just on a much larger scale, but that's essentially what they believe.
And in case I don't see you,
good afternoon,
morning,
good
afternoon,
good night.
The stars are just little holes where the spotlight's behind them.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Which they also kind of believed in the ancient Near East when the gods would literally inscribe, like poke holes in the firmament to create the stars. Like they specifically they said that they inscribed the stars into the firmament. So,
oh my God, it's a light bright.
Yeah, kind of. But either way, that's like the commentary I had to add to that. I don't know if you guys want to add more to that.
I feel as though we've sort of been discussing it the whole time. I don't have additional separately researched commentary because I knew you were definitely going to have a lot of thoughts on this one.
Yeah, this is like I said,
if anyone's cool to hear Tomo, but
if anyone's interested in any more detailed explanation of these things, I have an hour and a half long video on exactly this. So
the next time I encounter a Karen, I want to be wearing a T-shirt that says Proverbs 9:13.
Good stuff. Yep. That's like I said, wisdom is not usually the one screaming in the streets.
All right. So I guess I'll jump into chapter 9 then, unless someone else has something.
Nope.
I think it's Lilith's turn. You read.
I read like the second half.
He read the second half of Aaron's because Aaron disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. About that, there was a thing going on I had to address.
How dare you have a
might have to still be involved with. So I do appreciate you guys' patience with me. My wife is selling one of her motorcycles, and the guy that came up to pick it up had a problem with his truck, and I had to go jump start it because he couldn't leave. And the last I heard, she's driving him to the auto parts store to get a new battery.
Of course she is. Oh my God. Lilandra is such a sweetheart.
Yep. Well, it's either that or we put him up in a room.
No, I get it. But
when you initially said that there was this guy had a problem, I was like, oh shit, are they gonna, was there a physical altercation? Should have turned the camera on for that one.
But speaking of which, weird thing happened to me yesterday. Somebody invited me to his church life group, and I had a completely different impression about what was going to happen, but I went. I was fully expecting confrontation, and possibly video fodder. Just set up my phone, turn it on me, and let's have the fight. But it actually turned out to be really nice. It was weird being 2 or 3 hours with a church group, telling them very politely why they're full of shit.
I mean, the church life group, did they have like a video, like a alpha course video to watch, or did they have everyone sit around and talk? And
well, yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like the story that, but you don't understand. I was a drunk. I lost my job. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my house, and I prayed that I would never get drunk again. And then that was 900 days ago. Okay.
Well, good for you.
And so I said, does that reconcile any of the bullshit that we just talked about from the Bible about, how Jesus thought that the way to cure diseases was by taking demons and putting them into pigs and then killing the pigs? Does that reconcile that? No. Okay. And when somebody who worships Lord Krishna tells the exact same story that you just did, does that prove Lord Krishna? No. Okay.
There's a belief in Christianity I can vouch for, but I'm fairly certain in many religious groups that their testimony is the best way to spread the gospel. And they're not entirely wrong. Personal connection is far more productive than theological arguments because, let's face it, the evidence is I will generously call it
when we're talking about rationality versus...
Yeah, but they're not talking about rationality. That's not the game they're playing. They are playing the game of, I have this emotional human story that you can connect to, and I have attributed what happened to me to this cause, and you can't tell me it isn't, because then you're an asshole who's criticizing an addict. And so this means that I am opening an emotional avenue for you to project whatever your problems are onto the same solution I found, so that you can try it too and invest yourself in it. And maybe it'll help, or maybe it'll convince you that it helped because you feel like there's some greater power behind you, sort of like a mental placebo effect thing going on. And sometimes that is limitedly effective for certain people in certain times and places. That's the game.
I feel like I probably have mentioned this to you before, but I remember watching Doctor Who, like with Christopher Eccleston and then David Tennant, watching Doctor Who with my kids and enjoying the episodes, the excitement, the emotional, the music, all of that. We're enjoying the show. And then I watch it like 10 years later and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is stupid. And then like the movie Love Actually, people praised that movie. And I watched that movie and I'm like, this, from the very first time I watched it, I'm like, no, this is fucking stupid. I get the emotional connection. There is an emotional connection to there's certain stories that have the story itself doesn't make any fucking sense at all. But there's an emotional link there. So I understand religion from that perspective. It's Love Actually. It doesn't make sense. Don't think about it. Just feel it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's pretty easy to sell people stuff on an emotional basis. And if they were in any sense honest about none of this is about it being literally true, this is about its emotional impact and how that may help you, then that would be a whole different ballgame we would be playing. But until they're willing to admit that none of their claims are actually literally true, they will continue to do harm in the name of making the world a better place, while they actually factually make it hell on earth for all of us.
I see some discussion of Love Actually. If you want to have an idea of my quandary with religious belief and why people buy into it, seriously, it's a good experiment. If you haven't seen Love Actually, watch it, because logically it's fucking senseless. None of this would happen this way. It's all formulaic. It's all obviously false. I mean, there's no part of it that's believable at all. but you still feel good when you watch it. Weirdly, knowing that it's stupid.
Kind of funny the two who start dating after doing camera shots for porn, but
for super
it's
high
formulaic.
budget porn movies.
Yeah, just getting the lighting right.
Porn movies that required stunt doubles.
Well, they're not stunt doubles. They're just doing the lighting checks before the actual actors get in, so they can do light and shadow, and so they're just,
As if
I'm like, I don't know anything about the creation of porn, but whatever.
Well, now that I no longer know what we're talking about, Aaron, how are those? We got some comments if you want to read those.
Oh, okay, good. Uno momento por favor. Oh, there's a lot of. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Okay. So my unfinished journey says, "Hail Aaron and panel, and hail Iron Chariots."
Woo!
And then what is that? Githo 734. What am I missing?
GTFO.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
GTHO.
It doesn't say that.
Oh, get the
hell out.
GTH.
Get the hell out. Yeah, okay. It says, Aaron, are you going to BahaCon? Also, Fug the Holy Spirit and Yahweh is a dumbass. No, I am not going to BahaCon. At least 2 years in a row I have missed. I've heard rumors I might go to the next one, but I don't know. I've never been invited. I haven't been invited since I did 2 in a row, which I thought was a little, I thought because I thought they were going to trade everybody up. But it can't be something where they have the same speakers go every year, unless you're Seth Andrews, because then you're made of fucking gold. But otherwise,
come on, you love Seth.
People just want to hear his voice.
His voice is pretty great. Let's be honest.
He does have a pretty dreamy voice.
Yeah, the man is made of butter. And then Rachel Light,
delicious salted butter.
Hey, Aaron, the three of us were on the same trivia team, and as I recall, we won.
Rachel Light 1186 says, to me, it sounds like they got confused the atmosphere with water. It sounds like they confused the atmosphere with water. What do you think?
I mean, sure, yeah, sky's blue and so is water, I guess. Well, at the time they would have been like, so is water, but the thing is, it also has to do with the fact that it rained a lot.
By the way, speaking of Seth Andrews, I will be on stage with Seth Andrews at the end of August in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Botanical Center. I think it's on the 29th. Check out the thinkingatheist.com. He's got advertisements for a reunion of the Unholy Trinity. So me, Seth Andrews, and Matt Delahunty. And I'm excited for it. I'm looking for a good show. Seth always does well, but I'm looking to do a good show myself.
Unholy Trinity.
I think you can probably look at some of the predictions you made in the past and see how many of them came true. If we don't get this Christian fascism under control, when the next will happen. I'm gonna bet you probably had some pretty good predictions.
All right. So I guess
you gonna read this?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll read it. It's not a big deal.
Wait, there's one more comment, no?
Is there?
Oh yeah, it just came in.
Okay, my unfinished sock. Mom, that's my special sock.
It's a bit late this day.
Oh, don't get an emotional attachment.
Mom comes in, picks up this like hard piece of fabric. Are you finished with this?
I always get the feeling that my unfinished sock just comes here for Lilith.
My unfinished sock says, don't do harm in the name of making the world a better place. Like and share the stream instead.
Thank you very much, my unfinished sock. Another thing to thank my unfinished sock for. Anyways, how about I hop into chapter 9?
Let's do it.
Okay, go.
Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her animals. She has mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her female servants. She calls from the highest places in the town. You who are simple, turn in here. To those without sense, she says, come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine I have mixed. Lay aside immaturity and live, and walk in the way of insight. Whoever corrects a scoffer wins abuse. Whoever rebukes the wicked gets hurt. Do not rebuke a scoffer, lest he hate you. Rebuke the wise, and he will love you. Give instruction to the wise, and they will become wiser. Teach the righteous, and they will gain in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. For by me your days will be multiplied, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise for yourself. If you scoff, you alone will bear it. The foolish woman is loud. She is ignorant and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house on a seat at the high places of the town, calling to those who pass by, who are going.
Lawrence
says, "Stole what?"
Lawrence, you glitched right at. She sits at the door of their house, calling out to those who pass by.
Oh, okay. She sits at the door of her house on a seat at the high places of the town, calling to those who pass by, who are going straight on their way. You who are simple, turn in here. And to those without sense, she says, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But they do not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol.
All right, explain that to me.
Okay, yeah, easily. So you have...
See, I've read this before, and I get to these last 2 or 3 verses, and I was completely lost.
Well, I mean, okay, so the general idea is that they're obviously comparing and contrasting Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. And there's
a goddess of folly?
No, there's also not a goddess of wisdom here.
These are personifications. We're allowed.
Isn't that what all the gods and goddesses are?
The Bible is allowed to deliberately be symbolic sometimes.
The god of basket weaving and the god of beer making, these are not just...
No, unfortunately not in this one.
Okay.
So they're comparing and contrasting, and they're speaking to the same group of people. And this group are, the people are going astray, but they're being tempted by both. One is tempting them in the way of life, like, here's all these amazing things I have, come and have these things. The door's open for you. But then Folly is doing the same thing, except all of the, like, she didn't make anything, like, she didn't build anything. There was no work put into to any of the stuff she's offering. It's very, for them it would have been very vapid, essentially. But yeah, if we go down to verse 17 and 18, you're specifically saying stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. And then, but they do not know that, well, I mean, yeah, they don't know that the dead are there, that our guests are in the depths of Sheol. So, that one is supposed to, the last verse there is supposed to be in contrast to the life that is offered in verse 6.
Wisdom provides life, folly leads to death. And these are, even the Bible, even ridiculous scholars, pseudo scholars, understand that this is speaking in metaphor. That was always the intention. That is always how it is taken. But nonetheless, there are elements here that are quite legitimately good, rules. When you're looking at people who you correct, if I think you're wrong about something and I give you information, you've said many times, Aaron, you want people to tell you if you're actually factually wrong on something so that you can learn. That is wisdom. Wisdom says, I am not omniscient. I might be wrong. You're going to actually need to provide some reason for me to believe you. But if you correct me, I am fully willing to learn and very grateful for it. The fool never says I'm wrong. I never, like, I can think of toxic and abusive relationships, foolish people who believe stupid things. It's what a lot of the reason why a lot of people are still buying into whatever idiotic nonsense the Tangerine Hitler is selling. They can't admit they were wrong. Everyone is wrong about something at some point. You're not a stupid or evil person because you were tricked by something or didn't know something or didn't know everything, and thus you are a stupid, evil person if you refuse to ever be corrected or to ever consider that, hey, maybe I didn't know everything. Maybe I should reconsider this.
Or as the old saying goes, I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
That's giving the Dowager Countess from Downton Abbey, who honestly, I don't even mind it with her because she's so iconic.
Right, Arn. So you were, I'm guessing that most of your question was around the secret bread. Was that it?
No, it was how her guests are in the depths of Sheol.
Right, yeah, because again, we're talking about personifications. This is entirely like metaphorical. You have Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly being contrasted. While one offers you life in verse 6, lay aside immaturity and live, and walk in the way of in the way of insight. To be contrasted there with verse 18, the people who go to the house of Lady Folly don't know that's where death is. That like you won't, when the great resurrection happens, you won't be there for it, because they still did believe in that, but they're not literally dead. They would, to use more modern language, they would be spiritually dead.
More like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he had a brief meeting with death, so with the afterlife. He had to go see somebody real quick.
Sure, because it's an interesting allegory. It's like, Lady Wisdom invites you into her restaurant, and Lady Folly invites you into her haunted mansion.
I'm just thinking, Lady Folly, I've probably dated her under 6 or 7 different names in my youth.
How many names?
Half a dozen different names.
Yeah, okay.
And Mitch McConnell, is he now Schrodinger's senator?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like you have any kind of a legitimate electoral process when Lindsey Graham dies and his sister is given the seat, because apparently they're also a pseudo aristocracy. What the
apparently
fuck? That is how our system works.
Apparently that
I'm pretty sure it's illegal as fuck.
But I mean, if you think about it, the people that become senators are don't have any experience to begin with, right? So
I'm just waiting for somebody to start playing the violin while the building burns.
Well, I know as both a millennial and a Canadian, apparently I am number 1 in drinking. Millennials drink more than anyone else, and Canada drinks so much that despite having a much lower population than the US, we have managed to completely fuck over both your whiskey and even the California wine industry because we stopped drinking you. The governor was real salty about it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you can say you dislike Trump, but start arresting ICE agents, and then I'll think about your wine. But yeah,
I wonder if Americans would be more happy if they drank more.
Well, I'm going to go find out.
I don't think so, because they still have that Puritan base that makes them feel guilt and shame whenever they drink, and then that makes them rage, and then that makes them be stupid and fashy, and it's just which makes them drink. Everything gets worse.
That's a frustrating thing. We were founded by Puritans who supposedly came over here to escape religious persecution, when actually what they were doing was they were being annoying, and they came over here to pursue religious persecution. And then we had the whole South thing determined to be religious and have slaves, and cite the Bible as the reason why we're going to have slaves and why we can't have nice things. And that just seems to be genetically where we are stuck.
Well, they never disavowed that past. And I mean, the Puritans, these are the people who were so uptight the British kicked them out. and who were so horribly abusive when they were in power in Britain that it got the Irish Republicans on the side of the British monarchy. That's how fucked they were. Like, that's, I can't even, like, the only argument for the British monarchy is at least it's not Oliver Cromwell.
I don't know how it is, but I'm on a mailing list for some Irish Republican activists, and I'm surprised that as an American that I'm even familiar with this at all. But I see these emails or these posts almost every day, and somehow I think I'm caught up on it.
Yeah, but it's an incredibly toxic attitude, and these are people who hated every form of joy and every form of pleasure and thought that it was all a sin and a trap. They were the only ones who ever banned Christmas. Like, that's how miserable they were. That's not a good basis for life. That's not a good basis for anything. That's a good basis for guilt and shame ad infinitum. And there are these two heritages of, the Enlightenment ideals versus the puritanical, uptight misery and guilt and shame and Calvinistic nonsense. And unfortunately, the worst one is at the fore.
And then you've got a minority that says, hey, you know what would be better for everybody? That would just make everything better for everybody. And then you have somebody else who say, yeah, but I don't want that. I want better for me and fuck all y'all. And unfortunately, it's that second person that's always in charge.
Yeah, it's like, did they forget they live on this planet too? Like, I get a certain amount of selfishness.
They have a logic that they are old, so it doesn't matter if they destroy the planet so that it won't last another 20 years because they won't be here anyway.
I thought you were saying that they're just lodgers.
All right, so where are we at now?
God, I hate the rich. Okay.
Well, unless anyone has something to add about these things. Oh, I did actually have one more thing. So stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Yes. It's all from the perspective of basically a thief, where like, oh, I love this, this stolen food and water. I'm gonna go eat it over here where no one's looking at me. So,
I think there's some validity to the point that, a life of crime, of parasitically living off of other people, traditionally, historically, is not a long, fulfilled, and happy life. The idea being that if you build something with your own hands, and you invest in the future, you will have a longer, more sustained, more fulfilling life. Which, was the case whenever there wasn't an abuse of power until capitalism came along and got so unhinged. But again, the premise is sound of making your own things, building a stable life is a better way to be than to just parasitically steal from everyone else. And then, I mean, that life is often short.
Yeah, if only the way of insight was actually this. If only it were that easy. So
definitely.
Wow. Yeah, the thing is, for that section in the middle there, I think that we can actually get a better view on what that means once we get later on into the book, where you have it's the proverb that Ken Hovind used to say all the fucking time. Sorry, not Ken Hovind. No, Cy Ted. He used to say it all the time.
God!
Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. That's from Proverbs 26.
And yet people would still debate him.
Right, he would still do that, yeah, on purpose. So he's the thing is, it's funny how he only ever cites the first half of that verse, but whatever. Cherry picking. What else is new?
Cy Ten Kate was not a man capable of nuanced thought.
Right. Yeah. So
Danger Man 1973 offers $4.99 and says, "Are they the real origins of angels and female angels? that is not biblical?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I don't know either, because the sentence structure is confusing me.
Real origins of angels.
Is he talking about the ghosts in the last verse? Because the Hebrew word is Rephaim, which sometimes is translated as giants. And the
Oh yeah, but they do not
angels
know
and
that the dead are there. Is that one? Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, like the.
Let's see here.
He didn't. Yeah, I mean, like JPS says the shades.
Yeah,
but
shades.
The Hebrew is Rephaim, which is
right. Yeah. With the Rephaim, yeah, I wouldn't say word. This is the origin of it. There were other passages that we went over that talked about. I think in a lot of our commentary, the Rephaim were, the ones. Sometimes it was giants. Existing in Shale. It was kind of in their realm. So I like that. I wouldn't say this verse is the origin of that, but it was certainly used in those later theologies that kind of extrapolated that other information.
Yeah, I don't understand exactly what the question is trying to ask. Oh, are there
okay.
Well, I do know that there are not female angels, since angels in the Bible, have no gender in the Bible.
Are there? I think he's trying to say is, are there any real origins for angels and female angels that is not biblical?
Oh.
Like, how can you have a real origin for an angel?
In the same way as origin for
angels don't come from the Bible. Like the Bible didn't invent the idea of
right. Yeah, there were male and female angels throughout the ancient Near East. You take a look at any Mesopotamian stuff, like actually Lilith, for example. It was a class of angels, both male and female.
I know that there's male and female angels because I've watched Lucifer and Hazbin Hotel.
Well, and I also watched Supernatural, so yeah, I agree.
And Lucifer is hot.
I love the story of the church that like got an artist to create a statue of Lucifer, and it was too sexy for church, so they got his brother to make the replacement, and it was
even more
sexy.
Yeah. The women were very devout suddenly.
Depends if twink Satan or jock Satan.
Okay.
Yeah, the women suddenly became very devout in their prayers and found it important to meditate on Lucifer's fall and the tragedy of it.
Yeah, I think I have a book on Mesopotamian incantations. I'd have to find it, but like there are incantations for demons, angels, a whole bunch of stuff, male and female, depending on what you wanted. There's
I mean, in pagan cultures, you've got male and female gods, and you have male and female angels. The Bible kind of kind of makes them all male, but in the same sense, they're kind of less gendered.
They might appear male for convenience.
God is he. Yeah.
But they're not gendered in the way of, but they do. There is that bit about, the sons of God, the sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they were all turned into Ken dolls after that. But not that that's actually an earlier writing than the others.
Yeah, I think it's probably a development. Like, but there's
secondary divine powers, even dryads and naiads. They're not angels, but they're, demi magic beings. And even the names, something like the Devas were actually the most exalted spiritual form in the Hindu cycle of reincarnation, and they think that devils might have been taken from that by the Persians initially to turn it on its head, because of course they were Zoroastrians were probably the first proper monotheists in a way. And it's always about being
hard to say,
about other people.
I mean, both of their good god and their bad god were actually the same god. So like it's I don't know.
And Brahman is all. I know. It's theology always gets very convoluted when you get into it really deeply.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, if you were just having fun with the ideas and not making laws about shit, then I would say, cool, do that. Have all the fun. I do not care, but don't pretend it's literally true and real and that it has to regulate my body.
Yeah, I think if you have a pantheon of gods and goddesses, and some of them are messengers, which are less important, and then over time you kind of worship just maybe you worship one god, those messenger gods kind of get downgraded to
something
messenger
similar.
spirits,
Mm-hmm.
and then you end up with biblical angels, which are just like
they're just emanations of God, basically. That's what they always seem to be, like the hand of God on earth.
God is just sticking his little finger in and puppeting, and that produces the image of an entire being.
Right. Yeah. Basically,
he's just so grand.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you still have like demons and stuff, which are kind of like a remnant of that system where there are multiple spirits and stuff.
Oh yeah, gets very dramatic.
All right. So Lilith, are you reading chapter 10?
10. I am, absolutely. Now, finally, on to officially the Proverbs of Solomon. The wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son grief to his mother. Unless she's a boy mom, in which case she totally supports it. Ill-gotten treasures are of no value, but righteousness delivers from death. Only that were true. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. Lazy hands make a man poor, but diligent hands bring wealth. He who gathers crops in summer is a wise son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son. Blessings crown the head of the righteous, but violence overwhelms the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the righteous will be a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. We can only hope. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. The man of integrity walks securely, but he who takes crooked paths will be found out. He who winks maliciously causes grief, and a chattering fool comes to ruin. Well, he should have come to ruin.
How do you wink maliciously?
You know, I mean, it's not necessarily just a wink. It's that you double crossing, you know, going behind someone's back, you know, kind of winking behind someone, just being shady, dishonest, underhanded in your dealings.
Yeah, I got a comment I got to read real quick. It's Alira the Free asks, does the Bible specify God's preferred pronouns? Well, remember, Jesus says, I am he.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
in the Hebrew Bible, he is always, and in the Bible, he is always referred to as he.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
use masculine pronouns. Yes. And like in the New Testament as well, they use a masculine pronoun form. And then if in like a verb, right, if he's doing something in Hebrew, at least it uses the masculine.
There you go.
Let's continue.
The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but violence overwhelms the mouth of the wicked. So frequent calls for violence is a sign of wickedness. Good to know. Hatred stirs up dissension. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, literally, this is just Trump versus not Trump.
Yep.
Well, and most of his toadies. Hatred stirs up dissension, but love covers over all wrongs. So dissension is bad. Well, stirring up dissension is bad, actively. Wisdom is found on the lips of the discerning, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks judgment. Go ahead. Wise men store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. For everyone, apparently. The wealth of the rich is their fortified city, but poverty is the ruin of the poor. The wages of the righteous bring them life, but the income of the wicked brings them punishment. Or should, if it's thievery. He who heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. He who conceals his hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. When words are many, sin is not absent, but he who holds his tongue is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little value. The lips of the righteous nourish many, but fools die for lack of judgment. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, and he adds no trouble to it. A fool finds pleasure in evil conduct, but a man of understanding delights in wisdom. What the wicked dreads will overtake him. What the righteous desire will be granted. When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is a sluggard to those who send him. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. All evidence to the contrary, Glitch McConnell. The prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hopes of the wicked come to nothing. The way of the Lord is a refuge for the righteous, but it is the ruin of those who do evil. The righteous will never be uprooted, but the wicked will not remain in the land. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but a perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is fitting, but the mouth of the wicked only what is perverse.
I mean, a lot of this is very much Cat, you fucking maniac. A lot of this is very much self-explanatory. If you do good things, if you follow the law, if you follow these commandments and my teachings and all that stuff, it's gonna go great for you. But if you don't, and you talk shit and you don't follow my commandments, if you do other rude things, things are going to go poorly for you. And I wish it were that simple. That is not how that tends to go. But for them, theologically, it makes them feel better because they're like, well, in the end, certainly there will be just desserts. But that's not going to happen, unfortunately. We got to make shit happen now. There was one thing that I did note in previous episodes, but I did want to note again here. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble. For that one, that was mostly like a it was considered a gesture of like you're just kind of like ignoring someone, you're not really listening. So it was considered rude. So there are, but I think
you might wink at someone else. Like if you're being duplicitous with someone, you might wink at your co-conspirator.
Well, that's also possible. Yeah. Cat.
That's what I was describing when Aaron
breaking the fourth wall.
Sure, yeah. Although I would also say here, Cat, I need you to relax. Okay, you're fine. You have everything you need. So where is it? Why is it set up this way? So where was it? Right. So in verse 10, the NRSV UE has, whoever winks the eye causes trouble, but one who rebukes boldly makes peace. Now there's a note here that says they're taking the Greek, but the Hebrew says, but one with foolish lips will come to ruin, which would just be a repetition of the verse before. But it's not like they repeat, the second cola of each of these verses all that much. So I am currently I don't know if you guys, if Isaac, if you have any specific notes on that one, but while I pull this up,
Well, depending on whether you're going with the sort of the Hebrew or the, the Masoretic or the Greek text, it is a bit different. The idea that the wise will, speak truth and correct people, but will also do so with discernment. They won't be like the fool ranting in the streets incoherently, or on a stage with a microphone incoherently. But there's a certain amount of discernment to actually having, speaking the truth and having it make the impact that you want. Both the fool and the prophet speak truth. The fool is the only one who survives to tell the tale. And I mean that in a Shakespearean fool sense, not in the way we're talking about it, fool. But yeah, the principle of, rambling, ranting, incoherent, jibber jabber, not a good sign. And duplicitous, double dealing is often going on behind that. And where there are many words, sin is not absent. So,
got a comment from Sable Eagle, says, clarification, please. Are angels, and it says angles here, which is funny, but are angels psychic emanations of God or nocturnal emanations of God? And are not nocturnal emanations, that reminds me of my unfinished sock.
Normally you say nocturnal emissions, but yeah.
yeah, would be the emission, yeah.
Who can tell?
So
Who can tell?
I mean, I'm not sure what
maybe the demons
mean.
are the nocturnal emissions of God.
No, the demons are what happened when God discarded the sock.
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean there by psychic, because because the thing is, when you're talking about something like a fucking god, like you have to, like, surely that would have a different meaning for you. Like, if it's just by like sheer force of will and he's just like thinking about it, or whether it's like actually him in some sort of like corporeal way, they're supposed to be viewed corporeally. They can appear to anyone that they want. Sometimes they could choose not to appear to other people. So I don't know exactly what you mean by psychic.
When you say corporeal, do you mean as in like God is made of spirit and angels are like parts of that spirit?
Well, because with if like think about Jacob, right, when he wrestled the angel, like that.
Yeah.
Like that would be more corporeal. But if you're talking about like messenger angels, for example, or like or interpreting angels, those are they're not necessarily corporeal. There are plenty of ones who are that you can interact with like physically, like with your hands and whatnot.
Angels.
Yeah, so it I'm not sure what exactly you mean.
Ones that can eat food and laugh at your jokes.
In the Shepherd of Hermas, the shepherd, which is an interpreting angel in that text, he takes Hermas on this journey, and he's always calling him an idiot, which I find very funny. It's very amusing when he shows him some sort of vision, and he's like, "You don't get it, you fucking moron!" And then he just explains it to him in like gross detail because he doesn't understand. It's very funny. So I think, where was it here? Right. So I did not see any more of a note there on verse 10, but yeah, the Hebrew and Greek are different. But it seems like,
which word?
No, the second half of that sentence there. So yeah, but one who rebukes boldly makes peace is from the Greek, and from the Hebrew, but one with foolish lips will come to ruin. So almost exact opposites.
The JPS translates as he whose speech is foolish comes to grief.
Right. So what I'm curious about is why the NRSVUE takes the Greek here. So I'm currently checking commentary for, because usually they leave like notes for the translation portion. So I'm so like for example, Ulrich, Burnt Shipper, he uses the Hebrew, and one who has foolish lips comes to ruin. And then for the note, he says that the Septuagint and the Syriac have he who reproves openly makes peace. The divergence in the Greek text could go back to a Hebrew forlaga, which leads Fox to amend the Masoretic text. Okay, to this. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Okay. Well, I do just want to say a quick shout out, a quick happy birthday to John Klein 67 in our chat. Going out for an old fashioned tonight. That sounds great. But just, wanted to throw that in. I realize it's off topic, but happy birthday.
Here's what it's supposed to be, I guess. And hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Vatokat. Holy shit. What is this? Is this a cat? Would you stop? Hold on, sorry. Fucking.
I love how his cat's name is Cat.
Well, I mean,
I love how both his cats are named Cat.
Cat and Cat. Cat, meet Cat. Cat, have you met Cat?
My daughter's first cat was named Dog.
Sorry about that. He was
adorable.
Like knocking over stuff behind the my screen here, and it's really annoying. So yeah, where was I? So the emendation made by Fox was Vatokat. Hold on, I fucking zoom this in. I'm trying my best here to read it. This would be Megillah, and and it ends with Shalom. Okay, so that would be peace. I know that much. So he made the emendation to the Hebrew text, which would actually end in peace there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the rest of that meant. Did I even get that close to right?
Say it again. I thought you were reading Greek. So
no, I was reading. Sorry, see, I was trying to read the Hebrew. Because
say it again.
Emendation to the Masoretic. I think this is Vatokat. What's this? Megillah, or Megillah.
Megale,
maybe
like reveal.
Yeah, and then Shalom.
Reveals peace. Is that what it's supposed to mean?
Yeah, but then Vatokat. I don't know what that means. Vatokat.
What's the translation?
It doesn't give one. I'm reading from the Hebrew. That was the emendation that Fox made to the Hebrew text. So it ends with peace.
Yeah, I don't see how that could fit in with what the words are in the Masoretic is Ve'evil Sufotayim Yilavet, and I don't see how that could be amended to those.
No, he's doing the emendation considering he would think that the original the suggestion would be that the one in the Masoretic text was a change from this previous one,
which had inspired the Septuagint.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like it could be like a scribal error. It seems like
I don't know.
They on purpose.
I'm just doing my best here. Trying my hardest to read Hebrew. So when it comes to this chapter, I didn't really have much because a lot of it is just kind of the same thing, and saying it in different ways.
And would that God did cut off the righteous early, or cut off the wicked early instead of the righteous, but apparently he doesn't.
But it's never like forever though, right? Which is always kind of their copium.
Yeah, sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes it's going to happen in a second life, or not second life, but like
jam tomorrow. Oh, good. One more slot on narcissistic bingo for God. Jam tomorrow.
All right. So unless someone else had to add something, which I really didn't for this section, aside from like the one variant reading. Isaac, did you want to take over then with chapter 11?
Okay. False scales are an abomination to the Lord. An honest weight pleases him. When arrogance appears, disgrace follows. But wisdom is with those who are unassuming. The integrity of the upright guides them. The deviousness of the treacherous leads them to ruin. Wealth is of no avail on the day of wrath, but righteousness saves from death. The righteousness of the blameless man smooths his way, but the wicked man is felled by his wickedness. The righteousness of the upright saves them, but the treacherous are trapped by their malice. At death, the hopes of a wicked man are doomed, and the ambition of evil men come to nothing. The righteous man is rescued from trouble, and the wicked man takes his place. The impious man destroys his neighbor through speech, but through their knowledge the righteous are rescued. When the righteous prosper, the city exults. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. A city is built up by the blessing of the upright, but it is torn down by the speech of the wicked. He who speaks contemptuously of his fellow man is devoid of sense. A prudent man keeps his peace. A base fellow gives away secrets, but a trustworthy soul keeps a confidence. For want of strategy, an army falls, but victory comes with much planning. Harm awaits him who stands surety for another. He who spurns pledging shall be secure. A graceful woman obtains honor. Ruthless men obtain wealth. A kindly man benefits himself. A cruel man makes trouble for himself. The wicked man earns illusory wages, but he who sows righteousness has a true reward. Righteousness is a prop of life, but to pursue evil leads to death. Men of crooked mind are an abomination to the Lord, but those whose way is blameless please him. Assuredly, the evil man will not escape, but the offspring of the righteous will be safe. Like a gold ring in the snout of a pig is a beautiful woman bereft of sense. What the righteous desire can only be good. What the wicked hope for stirs wrath. One man gives generously and ends with more. Another stints on doing the right thing and incurs a loss. A generous person enjoys prosperity. He who satisfies others shall himself be sated. He who withholds grain earns the curses of the people. But blessings are on the head of the one who dispenses it. He who earnestly seeks what is good pursues what is pleasing. He who is bent on evil, upon him it shall come. He who trusts in his wealth shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish like foliage. He who makes trouble for his household shall inherit the wind. A fool is a slave to the wise-hearted. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. A wise man captivates people. If the righteous on earth get their deserts, how much more the wicked man and the sinner?
Yeah, this is an extension of what we were reading before. Like,
yeah,
it's the compare and contrast with the wise and slash righteous with the fool slash wicked, and it does get a lot more interpersonal here. It's like no matter how good they look, no matter how they dress, no matter the nice things that they say, no matter how much money they have, it doesn't matter, because in the end, because this is why it kind of starts off with where was it? The day of, did you have the day of judgment or the day of, what was your translation?
There was the day of wrath.
The day of wrath.
Okay. Will not save you on the day of wrath.
Yeah.
Although gold will not save you on the day of wrath. Although the number of people who've bribed themselves out of some sort of genocidal rage being inflicted, I don't know, that kind of speaks against it.
Well, the thing about the day of wrath, right? That is like supposed to be the judgment day. That's supposed to be when the righteous, the people who are righteous in life, are resurrected. they come back to life, and they're supposed to live on this new earth that's completely rebuilt like the Garden of Eden. And on that same day, the people who are already dead are just kind of stay dead if they weren't like righteous, right? If they weren't of this group. But the people who are alive get judged, and everything is terrible for them, and fuck them. So the so this stuff is kind of meant to be like, this is how you know who's who. And while you could use some of these, they are very vague. They don't actually explain all that much. They're just like saying some things are bad, some things are good. I am pro good stuff, anti bad stuff, and it's like that's the vaguest fucking thing.
Yeah, it's not wrong, but it's also not really all that meaningful.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Proverbs do contain some wisdom, but a lot of it is also what you bring to it.
Nothing bad can happen.
Plot, but
nothing bad can happen. Only good happen.
Yeah,
it can only good happen.
It can only good happen. Many words hard.
Well, if everything that happens is God's will and God is good, then everything that happens is good.
I do like, though, that it says that the fool and the wicked are the ones that live parasitically off the labor of others and steal and build up and hoard from others' work. And the righteous are those who build for themselves and do the labor and
give
generously to those in need. And I'm just thinking Bezos is very much in the first category, as is Musk and Zuckernuts and all the rest of those. Like,
I feel verse 20. Mm-hmm. Verse 22 was a bit uncalled for.
22.
Oh yeah, the pig thing, yeah. Because looks can be deceiving.
What was that about?
Yeah, no, that's about it. Looks can be deceiving. So, like a gold ring and a pig snout is a beautiful woman without good sense. So, no matter how good she looks, if she's a pig, if she doesn't have sense.
But is it saying that just because she's beautiful doesn't mean she's not a woman? Or...
No. Doesn't mean that you should.
What?
Doesn't mean
Am I reading the wrong chapter? 13, did you say?
No.
11.
20. Yeah,
no, I mean verse 13.
22.
No, 22.
22. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong verse. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of ironic too when you think about how reality TV culture has given birth to so much monetization coming from being publicly pretending to be as vapid and stupid as possible. I mean, is Kim Kardashian really as much of a ditz as she pretends, or is that a marketing ploy? I genuinely don't know. Never met the woman, but
yeah.
To
be honest, I think I misread
everything about our current system puts this on its head, and it's not good. Like,
I think I misread the verse. I kind of read it as like a beautiful woman, like a gold ring in the sound of a pig, is a beautiful woman bereft of sense. I thought like bereft of sense was like in a verb sense almost, like that a beautiful woman doesn't have sense.
Right.
Rather than
no,
a
this
woman
is
who
talking
is
about
bereft of sense.
A beautiful woman who's vulgar, obvious, stupid. Yeah. And not just in the sense of being sensual, but in the sense of being like everything out all the time, has no secrets, has no, sense for timing, for the appropriate moment to speak. And granted, discretion is a skill. And nobody's perfect. But if you never consider how you're speaking and what the impact is, and if that's actually how you want it to go down, then you lack discretion.
Yeah, and in the end, everyone is supposed to have their just desserts. with the day of wrath, which once we get to the prophets, we're going to talk a lot more about that. It's not pretty.
The prophets do like their wrath. They're very much about that.
No.
And by the way, just dessert, it sounds like it says like it's pronounced the same as dessert, as in like what you eat, but it's spelt like a desert, and it means what you deserve.
Yes. Yes, it does mean what you deserve.
We only use it in that sense. It's one of those words you only use it in like a specific formula.
Interesting.
It's an older form, not that old, but you know what I mean.
See, I thought it was actually spelled as the way that
S.
Yeah. Not as in a desert, but a dessert for food. Because to me it made sense, right? Because like
so that's how it's pronounced.
Your just desserts are the ones that you deserve. Yeah. At the end of like a meal, right? Like to me that always makes sense. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
So
yeah, it's like saying like just treat or just yeah.
I gotta deal with this cat again. But Aaron, I don't know if you want to read the chats and maybe get started with chapter 11, but I'll be right back.
All right.
Me 12.
Okay, so Lyra the Free says, "He who loveth comfort more than truth shall have neither for long." From my book of Proverbs. Okay, and then I'm reading 11
from my book of Proverbs.
Yeah. So I'm reading 11.
I think it's 12 actually. Chapter 12.
I was a little confused at that when he said that. He did say 11, though, right? All right. So reading 12 then. All right. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but those who hate to be rebuked are stupid. The good obtain favor from the Lord, but those who devise evil he condemns. No one finds security by wickedness, but the root of the righteous will never be moved. A good wife is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are a deadly ambush, but the speech of the upright delivers them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. One is commended for good sense, but a perverse mind is despised. Better to be despised and have produce than to be self-important and lack food. The righteous know the needs of their animals, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel. How can mercy be cruel? Those who till their land will have plenty of food, but those who follow worthless pursuits have no sense. The wicked covet the proceeds of wickedness, but the root of the righteous bears fruit. The evil are ensnared by the transgression of their lips, but the righteous escape from trouble. From the fruit of the mouth one is filled with good things, and manual labor has its reward. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to advice. Fools show their anger at once, but the prudent ignore an insult. Whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence, but a false witness speaks deceitfully. Rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment. Deceit is in the mind of those who plan evil, but those who counsel peace have joy. No harm happens to the righteous, but the wicked are filled with trouble. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. One who is clever conceals knowledge, but the mind of the fool broadcasts folly. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the lazy will be put to forced labor. Anxiety weighs down a human heart, but a good word cheers it up. The righteous are released from misfortune, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. The lazy do not roast their game, but the diligent obtain precious wealth. In the path of righteousness there is life. In walking its path there is no death. I'm not entirely sure that all these are legitimately true.
I wish many of them were true.
Yeah.
I think it's also an indication that because, all cultures, all systems are imperfect. But when the wicked are prospering and the diligent are suffering and truth becomes a sideline, then the entire system is fucked. I think it's a good warning that this is what it should look like in human interaction. You should earn a good reputation by honest dealing and then be able to rely on that. You should be able to, through your own labor or creativity, build up something for yourself and rely on that over time. Very much not the state of the world. The fool vain pursuits like what? Crypto? The freaking non-fungible, the what are those? Where they sell you
NFTs.
NFTs, thank you.
Non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible tokens, NFTs. Has there ever been anything more useless, more vain? At least, they call Vanity Fair was the movie on Marie Antoinette's life, but at least she got actual lace and dresses out of it. Those were real things. She actually showed up to a party and had a good time, at the very least. So, what the hell? We've managed to get even more vain than that.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to say, oh, if you're evil or stupid, you'll get it someday, or God will punish you or whatever. But the problem is the way it's written. It feels like people could read it and be like, well, I'm doing well and I'm having these blessings, therefore the way I behave must mean that I'm righteous.
Oh yeah, they do that all the time. And that's the thing. This is I think some wisdom is inherently aspirational, sort of the way the world should be, the way things will work in a healthy manner. Yeah. But then the wise don't listen to Proverbs and just mindlessly wrote them off. So I don't know. But yeah, I can make an argument why something is evidence why I'm righteous and I get to do whatever stupid or deranged thing. Welcome to half the history of theology.
Yeah, isn't that what prosperity gospel means? That
oh God, yeah,
the fact that you're prosperous, it means that God is happy with you or something like that.
Yep. And if you get prosperous by scamming little old ladies, and that just means that God has given you favor and not the little old ladies, because God's a dick, and you need a third jet.
Well, you can't.
There's a lady on.
Can't do any of that amazing work without a third jet.
I mean, who would carry my golf clubs?
Right. Yeah.
Didn't he give a sermon where he defended, where he was but he kind of said it more like no one should ask, it's not their business almost.
I mean, it sort of depends which of the evangelical shill, because I may be doing one impression, but I'm mocking by imitation at least half a dozen that I can think of by name or face.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same nonsense. It just, if you mindlessly follow, if you have anything like the Muslim you spoke to, Aaron, who says, no, was my interpretation. The Quran could never be wrong. The Quran has to be mindlessly right. Anyone who takes any text in that way that is the way of a fool's thinking, because if you never address something with enough calm and open-mindedness to actually consider it, then you'll never get wisdom from it. It doesn't matter, because you have no opening for wisdom in your own mind. So part of it is a problem with the text, but part of it is also a problem with the readers, that they have demonstrated so much, so long.
There is a woman who
looks like
Isaac
cut out
stuff.
there. Isaac, you cut out.
Sorry.
Oh, he's cutting out a lot. Okay. So
Is it better now?
A minute to get back. Hello.
There we go.
Isaac.
Hello,
yes,
Isaac.
Repeat
Can
your
you
thoughts.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's weird because I could hear you the whole way. No, I was just saying there's this woman who she signed up for like the Trump mailing list and stuff, and the stuff that they send out, like, and you expect most of these people are going to be like older, vulnerable people, and it's like Trump wants you to be on this level, or like he cares about you, he misses you, he hasn't heard back from you, please fill out this survey and donate, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, there's like,
as if
it's
this
literally like a
man
daily thing
would notice them from a hole in the ground. Like,
this is being run exactly like a fucking cult.
Yeah, it is a cult scam.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So she says she posts like videos showing like all these emails that she gets and stuff, like, and that's crazy.
It's deeply disturbing.
All right. So I'm assuming you guys already read through 12.
Yep.
So, I mean, the thing is, it really is just an extension of all the other stuff that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
It's very much like some of this could be taken as good, but what it really means is very vague and it's not very specific. At least in most of at least
a lot of it is just truisms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
basically, the wise will find wisdom here. How much of it is sourced from them as opposed to the text is a matter for debate.
Right. Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff that is. What you say, Isaac?
I was like, he who tills his land should have food in plenty, but he who pursues
should.
vanities is devoid of sense. That's kind of like kind of like a truism.
Yeah, so it's this stuff isn't, because it's so lacking in specificity. Like, I say luckily, loosely there, we read through Psalms. We have some description of what wicked people are supposed to do, right? So that's really the only stuff we can base this off of. There's like a few things like let's see, verse 23, one who is clever conceals knowledge, but the mind of a fool broadcasts folly. Like, even then, that's still open to interpretation, because like, what counts as folly? Like, what counts as knowledge? Because we know that how they're looking at knowledge is not the same way that we're looking at knowledge. So yeah, it's a bunch of truisms that are actually vague in any substance, lacking in substance, I should say. But people love to pull these out, though.
I think we will get some better ones that actually have something a little more to them in substance. A lot of this is truisms and idealisms. Like, I really wish people who did the hard work actually could rely on the fruits of that labor. But pensions aren't really a thing anymore. So,
I mean, I've always, heard the thing that, why do bad things happen to good people, and why don't shitty people ever, why do never get the karma that they deserve? So the real life contradicts this passage.
It's what we want, and it's a good thing that we are driving towards, but there is no justice in this world unless we make it. It's good to desire justice. It's good to understand what that looks like, and it's good to work towards it. But again, if we don't get off our ass and make it happen, don't wait on God. Don't be doing that. You want to believe in God like Jimmy Carter did. Okay, worked at Habitat for Humanity till his death. He almost eliminated an entire parasite that had been just torturing children, and he managed to almost completely make it extinct. So that's making the world a better place.
All right, are we reading further today? I get the impression not.
No, I gotta eat, and yeah, my cat's still kind of freaking out. Not entirely sure what he wants. He probably just wants attention. So
yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right. So then Proverbs 13 when we meet a week from today.
Yes, that should work.
Okay, and I trust that Tomer is doing well.
Well, I mean, he's alive.
Okay.
I think he's having a rough time. So if you guys see him on the Discord, just reach out, give him a hug, let him know we're all thinking of him too.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll do that privately, but I think it's just important for him to remember that he's not alone and that we still care about him. It's not just that he brings us these incredibly detailed and awesome commentaries, but that he is a valuable part of this community.
Yeah.
As himself.
Yeah. I just wanted him to know he was missed. All right. So Alira the Free gives 55, what is that, Turkish lira?
Lira.
Subscribe and share the love and join Tomer's Discord. Thank you, panel, for your wonderful insights. Good night. And with that, there is nothing.
Boo, Tomer's Discord. I'm going to quickly go ahead and ban Alira real quick. So make sure you join the Behold Network Discord, where I have all the power.
Oh.
It's all vested in me.
Which one?
Know, right.
Which one?
The Behold Network.
Behold. Wait, is he getting are that a pack of peanuts or a?
No, that is
a can of Behold. It
is a can of Behold. So we found. Right, this was completely chance finding. We had already started doing like the Behold thing, and then just like at the studio, we found a can of Behold's, like the spray, and we were like, well, there's no way we shouldn't put this front and center. So that's exactly what we did. So for the rest of the series of Atheist Sunday School, we had that on the table.
That's beautiful. Okay. Behold furniture polish.
Yeah.
Behold.
All right then. Until next week.
Yes. Hasta la bye bye.